Welcome back to the Take a Step podcast, where we equip young men to reject complacency and take purposeful action every day. So today on the podcast, most of you guys probably know him already from recent episodes and just being affiliated with the Take a Step brand. But we've got John Szarszewski back with us, who honestly over the last 2 years has become one of my best friends and just a really good influence and somebody that I want to be around every day. So I know you guys will soak up a lot of information and some inspiration as well specifically. So John, welcome back to the show.
Let's get it, baby.
Yeah. Lots to talk about just with some recent, I guess, innovations or implementations with the Take a Step brand as a whole. But I guess to the community as a whole, John, official new partner for Take a Step.
Let's go.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I'm excited to take that step with you. And obviously, like, you kind of showed me the need and the problem that we get to address. And as I've been branching into the coaching, investing in myself and joining containers and learning a lot, and then branching into the actual coaching realm, like, the more you see it and the more your eyes are open to the matrix per se, you recognize the problem. And now I'm on fire to like link arms with you and starting here in Woodstock just to shape. Really, I think it started with, as a girl dad, I've got 3 young daughters, and I want to influence the next generation of guys because they're going to be the ones that create the culture of the city that we live in. And this place is special. This country is special, and we need strong leaders to step up to continue the mission.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when we talk about the problem, like, what is that main problem that we're addressing? It's something that I spend a lot of time trying to narrow down and really sum it up in one word, because there's so many, I guess, ideas that come up when you look at like what are some of the problems facing young men today, because you can go down a rabbit trail with social media, with just like our sinful nature and everything in between. But like for me, the way I sum it up, because it's something that I experienced, there's a great quote that I heard from Roy Vaden, who he works with people on like kind of defining their personal brands and helping them really clarify their messaging. And for me, well, he has a quote that says, "You're most qualified to serve the person that you once were." And I love that, because like, if I'm going to have the greatest impact on somebody, it's helping them overcome a challenge or a problem that I once had and found a way through. And that's not to say that you or I are experts or gurus on a certain matter, but because of our life experiences, I'm just telling someone my story. And if I can help someone out in that, then I think I'm kind of serving and living out my purpose. And I think I'm doing that vicariously through Take a Step. So that problem that I've really like coined is complacency.
Yeah. We went back and forth, like, cause I wanted to say the problem was comfort. We live in a comfort crisis right now, but you sold me that complacency is the underlying root of that. Yeah. Complacency breeds comfort, and to a certain extent,
I think the opposite. So the opposite being that, like, I think complacency is where people find themselves because of their habitual choice of making the comfortable decision. Okay. If that makes sense. See where I'm going? Let's talk about that.
And then they start to feed each other, essentially. Yeah. It's like it's this ongoing circle.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a spiral that like slowly kind of just probably stays status quo. Yeah. And then over years, it just starts to drift down and down. Exactly. And then all of a sudden, the comfort that you were chasing is no longer there, and you might be too far in a hole to get out of it.
Exactly. Because the reason why complacency was the thing for me was because I was at a point in my life where I knew I was just showing up to work, going through the motions, and I like found myself in this rut of complacency. And I'm like, why am I here? How did I like get to this point? Well, it's because I got a degree that everyone said I should get. I got an entry-level job that everyone said I should get, gave me the security and everything that everybody tells you is the path to be successful. And what was I doing? I was just making the comfortable decision on repeat throughout over the course of my life, because I was growing up. My personal story is I was a huge validation seeker, and I needed the approval of everyone else. And that led me to a point where I was building everyone else's definition of success. I was trying to run down everyone else's path when I wasn't even paving my own, if that makes sense.
And I feel like you used to be able to get away with that. 10, 20, 30 years ago. You could just follow the steps of like what the world defines as success.
Yeah.
And you can still get by. Nowadays, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
With the cost of living and just like, if you're trying to survive in this country, you almost need to branch out of that and to take it into your own hands, and you got to shake things up.
No, for sure. And I think that's where like the habitual nature of it comes into play, and why people find themselves in that state of complacency.
Because how many guys right now are out there doing a 9 to 5 and can provide enough money for their wives to stay home and be with their kids?
Yeah.
And to get the white picket fence in the house with the property.
Yeah.
And to retire at 60.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that many jobs out there that exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that used to be like, our school system brought us down that pigeonhole of like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, be an employee, kind of work your way up a little bit. Your office gets a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger. And then eventually you can retire at 60.
Yeah.
That's no longer the case.
Hey guys, we'll jump right back into the conversation, but I want to give y'all a quick look into MMP Customs. They make all of the Take a Step apparel, and they are the official sponsor of the Take a Step podcast. Check them out.
Hey guys, I'm Nathan Mooney, co-owner of MMP Customs. We are a custom merchandise company specializing in screen printing and embroidery. If you're a business, band, school, or any other type of organization that needs custom merchandise, MMP Customs is the place. Whether you have a big apparel need for an event or need to outfit your company, we offer a no minimum guarantee and have never missed an approved deadline. At MMP Customs, you will experience the best customer service there is. Let our family outfit yours. Visit mmpcustoms.com. That's mmpcustoms.com.
Yeah. And like, I found myself in that place where I'm just like, okay, well, everybody kind of optimizes for what's the end result? Like what work a job so that you can do X so you can get Y long-term. Like do this so you get a good 401k, you get great benefits so that one day after you've paid your dues for 40 years and you're 65 years old, now you can start to enjoy life.
And is that a way you want to live your life?
Exactly. Well, that's what everyone else, that's what
arguably
the world
your
tells you.
Best years. They did a survey and they asked a bunch of seniors, like, what are the best decades of your life? And number one answer was your 70s. Second answer was your 60s. I would argue it's because they were bred and they grew up in this generation where you didn't have a life to live until you finally got out of the 9 to 5 hustle and you were able to retire. So now they're like, their hobbies aren't as fun. They're probably not as active, but they're still like doing things that they want to do rather than just selling their time for money.
Yeah. And I there are a lot of factors that go into it, in my opinion, but as you talk about, like, it's a generational thing. I go back to think about, our parents, most of our parents in our generation were raised by people who were coming out of the Great Depression, right? People that were taught to like save everything you got and like do the little things over time. And then one day after you've built this savings, it's like you're not allowed to enjoy life now because you need to live with this like minimalistic perspective.
My grandmother, she'll still wash and rinse paper plates. Like we'll go over there like on a birthday and she's got a set of like, they're plastic, but they're paper plates. They're throwaway plates.
Yeah.
And when we're done, I go to throw them in the trash can. She's like, whoa, what are you doing? No.
Yeah.
And she saves them.
God
because
forbid.
She's from that generation.
Yeah.
Like there's something to be said about it. Like everything now is throwaway.
Yeah.
Like if your washer or dryer breaks, are you going to call a repairman out there to come fix it? No, because it probably costs you more to fix it than it is just to get a brand new one.
I did that my 5th year in college. Got a 5th year because I graduated in COVID. My buddy and I lived in a double wide trailer in Cleveland, Georgia. And our washer and dryer went out, and it was the first time I've ever called an appliance repairman. And we were sitting there like, why do we not just buy a new one? But it's the same mindset. And outside of like the way we were raised, in my opinion, I actually wrote a newsletter on this the other day, but the how we view like the opposing viewpoints between success and failure that we've bred a generation. It's almost like failure is demonized, and it makes you think that like if you fail, it's the most uncomfortable state you can be in because you did something wrong, you're not good enough, and it's almost like a label is put on you. And success is the opposite. Like you get celebrated, you did everything right. But like that mindset, why would anyone ever willingly take a risk or do something where they're not sure that they're going to succeed if that's the label that we put on people if they're going to fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's becoming the observer. So like one thing I've been doing, and journaling helps with this, and it's like starting your day. Like for years, I would start my day first thing, check emails or social media, and then I'm out the door. And I've been in the the fitness industry, so loud music, high conversations, just like we're going. And I never had time to like stop and think who I am, what am I feeling, what am I experiencing. But when you're talking about success and failure, when you like hover over yourself for a second and you recognize like, okay, failure is just feedback. So sometimes when you fail on bigger things, you learn more valuable lessons. Like if you take out a loan for a business and you end up failing, you have to close shop, you didn't fail. You just learned a $100,000 lesson, and then don't make that same mistake again. But like the more we walk, the more wisdom you should start to accrue. And it's never failure, it's just feedback.
Yeah. And because I think so many people think that if I like failure is a period rather than a comma. You know what I mean? It's the same. Like if I fail, I now have one more thing I know not to do, so that I can make the adjustment and continue to move forward. And the guys that everybody labels as these massive success stories, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, the all of these guys who have built and scaled massive companies that are worth a lot of money, have failed more than anyone else.
Yeah.
People only paint the success stories. Like you go read, I read Elon Musk's biography last year. Granted, it was like 600 pages, so it took me about the whole year.
Code, like
it should have been. The guy took he would have a little bit of success and throw it all on the line and fail, and then one thing would hit, and he would just like build upon that, and he would just take massive risks and fail and set unreasonable like deadlines and objectives that they wanted to achieve, and he failed at most of them. But then the massive success stories, the Zip2, the PayPal, the SpaceX, the Tesla, like all of these are like these small little sprinkles of successes that were just massive because he learned so much from all of his previous
failures.
I
love the massive word that you keep throwing out there. A lot of people are scared to like set big goals because of failure.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to say I'm going to do something and then not do it or fall short, because then I'm going to label that as failure. At the same time, if you like aim your sights pretty high, even if you don't achieve it, but you achieve 90% of it, like you're still much further than you would have been if you just took the complacent comfort route of I'm just going to keep status quo. Everything's going to be, the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like constantly just, like, how can you take pretty big action on pretty big goals?
Yeah.
And when you start to do that, you start to develop that faith muscle, because there's two things. It's faith or fear. Like everybody's operating in one of those two realms. And sometimes when doors close, like God's protecting you from something that you shouldn't have walked into. And I've been infamous for this, where I will be knocking on a door and I'm like, come on, God, I'm praying through it. I'm like, come on, God, like, I think this is where you want me.
Yeah.
And I'm knocking, nothing's happening. Then I start like punching, nothing's happening. Then I like turn around and I'm kicking the door. I'm like, come on, God, you said, like, I feel like you're calling me to this. And when I finally take a step back and like I reflect on where I'm at and where I'm trying to go, I realized there's this wide open door right there to the right, which is bigger and better than anything I could have imagined. But if I wasn't at least trying to take action, I wouldn't even see that other door that's open.
Yeah.
So sometimes when one door's closed, it's for a reason. And having the trust and the faith, and you just pivot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the message that we talk about all the time through the brand, that it's the action that produces the clarity. Right? Like
but then taking the time to step back.
For sure.
That's what I love that you have we released
we haven't, but we can foreshadow it a little bit.
Yeah. The roadmap, like when you take a step back every week on a weekly basis, even you can get down to a daily basis and look like, how did I operate today?
Yeah.
Am I stepping, am I moving towards my targets? And then when you reflect in real time, and you learn to pivot and adjust.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing like the military has with the AAR and after action report on like just debriefing, like, hey, what went well, what didn't go well, based on that, like what am I going to do different next time? then go take action. And like,
as I'm joining you on this movement now, I'm opening back up Extreme Ownership.
Oh, dude.
It's been a while, so I'm rereading that one. So talking about like the military and the debriefs, and that is ultimately why our military is so good.
Yeah.
That and endless money, but like that.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Yeah. I did a top 3 books that I've ever read, which is, I have a list of books that I need to read that is twice as long because I'm so slow at reading than books I have read. But Extreme Ownership was the second best book I've ever read. It's incredible.
What's number 1?
Ruthless Elimination.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
John Mark Comer.
Yes.
We side note, we just get so focused on, we got to do things. We got to do more. We got to add more to our calendars just for the sake of like feeling like our success is just tied to our productivity.
Busyness.
On the more busyness.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you check in with any old friend that you haven't talked to in a while. And if you call them, you're like, hey, how's life? The number 1 response is, oh, it's busy.
Yeah,
and they say it with this like worn down smile.
Yeah.
Like they should be proud of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be busy.
Yeah.
I want to be effective with my time. Like any time that I'm spent away from my family, like it better be worthwhile.
Yeah.
So get out there, be effective, and then like buy back your time. That's another good one.
That's another good one. But yeah, Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. If you haven't read it, got to read it. Once you read that, Extreme Ownership for sure. So one of the things that we're talking about a lot is goals and this idea of like chasing this success, this notion of success that everybody should use it the exact same, right? But we talk about it. Everybody says success like it's this umbrella statement that means the same thing for everyone. And like when I was chasing success based on what everyone else was telling me I should do, I found myself in this state of a complacent life where I was just going through the motions. I had no purpose behind what I was doing. How do you see like success when people are talking about the life they want to build, especially like in young men today? Because I think it's so prevalent in like growth minded guys that are trying to achieve these goals and things like that.
Yeah. Definition of success has greatly changed. And more it's gone as it's changed, like my faith has grown. So as I've grown in deeper dependence of God and really like cultivated that relationship and put that relationship first, it's beautiful how he's actually changed my desires. So the things that I thought I wanted, all I was doing was trying to conform to what everybody else told me. Like you're saying, this is what success is. Like I was in a container before the program, and when I'm hearing everybody like make their freedom targets. So like, what do you want life to look like from 3 to 5 years from now? I really didn't know. So I would more just pick up like on what other guys were saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that kind of sounds cool. Let me write that one down. Or, I like what he said about his family. Yeah, I want that for my wife and I. When I took the time, developed a relationship with God and started to like be obedient to him, he's actually changed what I want out of life. So I want to live for his purpose in me. I want to leave a bigger impact, like make this world better than when I found it. I want time with my family and not time with my family like in 20 years when I'm retired. Like I would rather sacrifice some of the financial gains now so I can be there and I can take, have lunch with my girls.
Yeah.
I can take a middle afternoon and go play pickleball with some buddies. Like,
Thank God.
Yeah, pickleball is sport of the future, guys.
It's not.
It is. It's going to be the next Olympic sport. I can't wait.
It might as well be porn.
That's a part 2 of this podcast.
Yeah, it's a part 2. That's a side note. But
should I elaborate on that? No.
Easy way out of tennis.
No, my gosh.
Easy way out.
That might be a roadblock for this relationship. I don't know if I can get behind that.
Anyway,
following up with what you were saying, when you were chasing the rabbit for the corporate America, like this is what success means, and you were kind of finding that complacency, did you feel like anxiety? Did you feel like depression could start to creep in if you didn't shake it up?
Yeah, like and that was very, very was very prevalent when I would show up at home and I'm giving like my last 10% to Jaden when I know I have more to give as a husband, and I felt like I was just like so exhausted from doing something that wasn't in line with who I wanted to be, because I hadn't even yet defined who I wanted to be. I was basing that definition off what the world was telling me, and I know like habitually choosing that over time led me to being in this, like, I felt like this, like, stage 1 of depression and anxiety. And I don't say that lightly. I always hate when people like try to put that term on themselves to get everyone to feel bad for where they're at. And I know it's very prevalent for a lot of people. And for me, I felt like I was on a path that was leading to that, because I wasn't doing anything based off of who I wanted to be. It was solely based off what the world was telling me.
Another book reco, Outwitting the Devil. And
I've heard of it. I haven't read it.
Do the audio version.
Okay.
It is so good. But the devil gets you into this drift state where you have no clear sense of direction and purpose. And when you're just kind of drifting through life, and it's not your purpose, like you're just kind of like trying to fit the cookie cutter. This is what success looks like. And when you're in this drift state, that's where you can grab a hold of you. And that's where you can throw these little things in there to numb you. So, i.e. sugar, like sweets after work, okay, or donuts when you hit the office. Makes you feel good for a second. All right. And then all of a sudden you start to get a little overweight. You feel worse about yourself, and he's got an even like bigger grip on you. Sex, like porn, or even sex with your wife, but like not intimacy, but just like the act, like he'll grab that and you can use that to numb yourself. Or there's also substances. So like if you don't know where you're going and why you're here, then those little things are going to be more attractive. And all of a sudden, like you wake up 20 years from now, you're fat, lazy, your wife doesn't love you because you're not loving her. Like that is no way to live.
Yeah.
But that's the norm for a lot of guys right now. Nobody talks about it, but like there's more, the suicide rate in men is more prevalent than women. And it's probably because of that reason.
Yeah.
What we've been told is success is not success. And we're chasing something that's an empty promise.
Yeah. And like people wake up in that life of depression, overweight, out of shape, poor relationships, no faith foundation. But if you said, hey, do you want that? Like if you showed them that life, like a picture of that life, a look into that life 10 years before, and you said, hey, do you want this? No one would take that. But they don't, I feel like it's a lack of intentionality in the decisions and the actions I'm taking right now and how that's going to impact the man I'm becoming. People don't see the impact, like the impact that the decisions they make right now, what kind of impact that's having on their future. Because they're so obsessed, back to comfort, they're so obsessed with being comfortable right now. And one thing I've talked about before is uncomfort is inevitable.
Yeah.
It's either are you going to choose it now or are you going to be forced into it later?
Start looking for it.
Yeah.
And when you start taking it on, like, yeah, it feels good. Like every morning, it sucks right now because it's getting colder out. But every morning after I have my little bit of quiet time, did I go in the shower and I just turn that water on me ice cold. And I sit there for a minimum of 2 minutes. And the entire time you're just sitting there and you were just miserably uncomfortable. But if my day starts with that, then inevitably when like there's fires in the office I have to put out, okay, like I just handle it.
Yeah.
And I actually embrace it instead of like, oh, like what is that one thing that you know is on your list that you need to do, but you don't want to do it, and you keep pushing it off and pushing it off. It's still there. And when you learn to embrace uncomfortability, like you just step in and you do it and you get it done, it's not that scary. One thing, there's the Eisenhower matrix. I just recently did this. I took a list of everything that I need to do, like all my different to-do projects that are in my head, and I put them on a spreadsheet. I classified it, whether it be for my business, whether it be for my personal growth, or like projects at the house. So I listed them all out, assigned them by category, and then I put on there urgent or not urgent, and then important and not important. And I labeled them on a scale of 1 to 5 in those two different areas. So now if something happens in my day where I have an extra 10 minutes, 20 minutes, let's say a meeting gets canceled and like there's a blank space on my calendar, instead of doing what I want to do, because inevitably like we'll always kind of choose the easy pill, I go back to that list and I look, okay, what's the most urgent, important thing that I know I need to do? Now I'm operating like out of facts, not feelings. And it's been great to see like how much more productive I've been in getting the things done. Like procrastination, that's not like, it's not a thing. Like you're not a procrastinator by nature. No, like you can develop yourself into that. You can also shake your way out of it. My question, what do you think, like, so let's say you've been living this comfortable loop and you've like gone through complacency now for a couple of years. You start to recognize you're not happy and you want to shift things up. Like, what is the first step to do that? Because it's hard, like, especially when all these things that you built, relationships you built, the job you built, the body you built, the faith you built, if you're not comfortable with, or you've been choosing comfort, so now you're not happy with all those things, what's step one?
Yeah. I like that you asked that, because it's a very similar question that I ask a lot of guys at the end of a lot of these episodes. It's like, how do we start? And for me, it's you got to clarify what you want, why you want it, and how you're going to get it. And then once you have that, once you're specific on what that first step is, you got to go. Like you have, and the reason I say that is because so many people get caught in the planning phase or the strategy phase and making sure they have everything perfect because they're scared of failure. They're scared of being uncomfortable, whether if it's judgment, whether if it's analysis paralysis, whatever it is that's keeping them from starting. There's something there that's tied to a level of fear because they don't want to be uncomfortable. And I think once you have that specific first action step that's going to generate momentum, you got to act and let the action produce the clarity. I have a framework that we've talked about targeted towards my audience of young men, which is SAC up.
Yeah.
SAC up being specify, apply, clarify, repeat.
So I love that. But you need to apply the things before you get the clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the clarity comes as you start to take action.
Yeah.
Initially, when I set out for success, I knew I had to shake things up. And I'm like, okay, this is what success looks like. It wasn't what success actually looked like.
Yeah.
But I didn't find that out until I started taking action. So
Exactly.
I at least said, like, I'm going north.
Yeah, you have to have a specific step that you're going to take, because if you say, hey, I'm going to go take action, but you're kind of vague on, like, for example, if I said, hey, I want to get in better shape. All right, I'm going to act on getting in better shape. What the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
But
that's why I love you just brought up getting in shape, because I think fitness is the gateway drug to growth.
For sure. 100%.
So, like,
it's black and white.
If somebody asks, like, hey, like I said, relationships are horrible. I don't have a faith. I don't like my job. Like, life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I would say is get out there, go for a run.
Yeah.
Get moving, get on a workout plan, like just cut out some bad foods and start being intentional with your diet. Not because that's the most important. I would actually argue of our 4 different pillars, it's probably the least important, but it's the best one to at least start to see direct results from your actions. And then when you start to take a couple steps and you realize that you're capable of, like, getting a little faster, getting a little leaner, getting a little stronger, okay, you start to believe in yourself. And then you start to take the same mindset of, I said I was going to do this, I did, and I got this.
Yeah.
What would it look like in my relationship if I said I'm going to date my wife, every Friday night, it's on the calendar,
and that's the
babysitters
clarity.
are lined up. Yes.
That's the clarity. Like, the specific first step was, okay, I'm going to show up to the gym. I'm going to do it for 3 days a week for this month. That's specific. That doesn't take a long planning process. That's not going to delay you from getting started. What's that specific thing so that you know, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to figure out something based off of what I did. So I'm not saying, hey, spend a week trying to figure out what that step is. If I want to start a business, maybe it's, all right, I need to buy a book on what's a great, like, I've read, How to Grow Your Small Business Made Simple, Buy Back Your Time. There's so many great options out there. That's one thing we don't have, is a shortage of information out there. So, like, what is the first thing? Okay, I'm going to buy that book. I'm going to buy that book and read it this month. All right, that takes 30 seconds to figure out. I can take that action before the end of the day. And then you take that action, and then, like, after you read that book, okay, now let's clarify, hey, what did I learn during that? What's my next specific step? If that was, hey, I'm going to, get around the right mentor because of what I learned in the book. It talked a lot about mentorship and how that relates to starting your business. Okay, I'm going to reach out to 5 people who I know have built good businesses. That's the specific step. Once I do that and have those conversations, so you can see it's this process. Like, planning isn't a one-time thing. Like, planning happens after every step you take. And that's the clarity that we talk about. So you got to be specific about what you're going to do. Be quick to take action. I talk about being action oriented with everything. You got to be quick to take action, and then let those actions, the habitual sense to taking action, produce the clarity over time.
The mentor thing stood out. Anybody that, like, if you see somebody with a relationship that you admire, if you went up to them and you're like, hey, what's the secret? they're not going to be like, hey, get away from me, dude. I don't know
Yeah.
you. Like, they love to talk about that. Anybody that's achieved success because they're chasing something they care about, they're eager to help the next one. So finding the right person, like somebody you look up to, and then glue yourself to that person.
Yeah. I think the where so many guys specifically fall short, and this is where the ego comes into play, no one wants to ask questions.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to look like they've already made it when they're trying to figure it out just like everyone else. The people that are going to actually receive the information, receive the wisdom from people that have done it, are the people that are going to actually take that step and go say, hey, this is where I'm at. I see where you're at. Give me some, like, I'd love to pick your brain a little bit about, your story and what you've done. But so many people don't want to swallow their pride and look like they need help.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great quote that's going to mind. It's those, the guys that, I can't think of the quote, but it's talking about how the guys who be interested, not interesting. So like if you try to look interesting, then you're not gonna, all right, this guy has already got it all figured out.
Yeah.
Like why would I need to help this guy if he doesn't even want to learn anything? But if you're interested, if I come to you with questions,
if they've walked the path, they can sense right through it, and they're like, "This guy's an imposter."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's the case. I'll talk with some guys. I've had friends that have wanted me to kind of like grab coffee with their sons or sons that are in college and just starting to, step into the real world for themselves. And you can tell the ones that just want to tell you about how they, everything that's great about them and how they've already got it figured out. They know their plan perfectly. And those like, okay, I'm like, okay, I'll sit here and listen to you.
Yeah.
But then what are they going to take away from that conversation?
Yep.
They don't have any questions.
When I sit and I do like meal plans for people, they feel like they need to tell me all the good things they're doing. So somebody might need, they might have 50 pounds to lose. Like, all right, well, tell me what the food you enjoy. Well, been doing egg whites. I like broccoli and chicken breast. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then every once in a while I'll do like a smoothie. I'm like, okay, great. And then they'll be quiet. And I'm like, what are the bad foods you enjoy? Oh, well, I've got a nightstand full of, nerds and candy corn. I'm like, okay, that's what I need to hear.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me all the good things you're doing, because clearly there's a problem that I can help you address, but only if you tell me what like the root of the problem is.
Yeah.
Don't tell me your Sunday best. Like a lot of people walk around. That's why at church, like we do a men's group here at the gym. I think it's so powerful because guys come here and they're used to just getting broken down physically. And then they come back stronger. They're used to that, like, ego is a shot. They break down, they get stronger. Break down, get stronger. Sometimes at church, everybody's going in there and they feel like they have to look and act a certain way. They've got their best clothes on. They try to get the family looking, presentable as we go in there, which is all good things. But if you're not real with your actual struggles, then you can't grow. Like,
well, it all comes back to that victim mindset, because they at the end of the day, they want you to tell them that it's not their fault. Like they want to tell you the good things because, all right, you tell me you eat chicken breasts and rice and drink some protein smoothies every now and then. So why are you 300 pounds?
Yeah.
It's, if you're doing all that, then something's happened. Like it's something you got to be diagnosed with. It's not your fault. There's got to be some underlying issue that you need medication or something for. You have some sort of mental health issue, like something like that. When at the end of the day, it's like there are actions that you have taken that have resulted in where you're at right now. And nobody wants to acknowledge that because they don't want to have to bear the responsibility for the lack of results that they've achieved.
I was working with a guy this morning actually, and we were getting clear on exactly where he is in order we can figure out where he wants to go. Because that's step one, is like getting clear on where you're actually at. And we're kind of going through our 4 different pillars, and we're talking through like finance. We're talking about what he's making. Like, okay, any debt to your name? He's like, no, not really. Like, not really? Or is there a credit card debt we need to know about? He's like, I had a card in the previous city I was living, just never opened the envelopes. I don't know what it is. It's like, there might be some debt. Like, well, what is it? He's like, I don't know. I don't want to look. Like, well, we can't help you move forward if we don't get very clear on what the actual problem is and the severity of it.
Yeah.
And you can stay blind to it for a certain degree, but not if you want to actually pivot and make some moves.
Yeah. You got to be self-aware to start out.
Beautiful thing with him, though, is he was humble enough to receive it. and he's going to implement it and he's going to get clear. So he had the humility factor there, which is good.
It is. Something I want to talk about, which you brought up when we were kind of constructing, hey, what is the system that we're going to build out to have guys go through as we're kind of like setting goals? What's the track record that we need to implement in order to achieve those goals? It's so common, especially in like the world of personal development, where you talk about like the commitments that you're making, right? Like what are the commitments I need to make in this area that are going to over time result in the objective that we have for that goal? What you brought up based on the idea of stewardship that we talk so much about, right? Like we are not owners, we are managers of what God has given us, and how are we maximizing what he has entrusted to us. I'd love for you to kind of tease out the difference in commitments that we always talk about, and then what you say, just to kind of really overemphasize this idea that we are stewards of what we've been given. So I'd love for you to talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so commitments, when you're making these plans and you're committing to these action items every week and every quarter or whatnot, there's still a level of selfishness if you're just trying to build your own kingdom here. And at the same time, if you fall short or you don't follow through on what you said you were going to do, it doesn't really affect anybody but you. And a lot of times what I've seen is, people make commitments and they create these great plans and then they don't follow through, but like life doesn't really change. They're still okay. And they're still making small pivots and small growth. But when you recognize, like you just said, none of this is ours. All of this is, we're just called to be good stewards with the resources, the blessings that God has given us, whether it be our family, whether it be our health, whether it be our business or our jobs, and just our time and our energy and our attention. Like if you start to look like, how can I best steward these things? We're crafting the term offerings every week instead of commitments. So like, how am I going to offer up my time for the kingdom? How am I going to, like, what offerings am I going to make to my family this week? It's no longer commitment. Like commitment's like, rigid. Like I'm committing to my wife. I'm going to date her once a week. No, I'm offering to God that I'm going to date his daughter and be the best husband I can be every week.
Yeah.
With at the same time, like when you make it not about you, for our business this year, to finish off the final quarter, we want to get behind our troops, and we're creating this thing called the Refinery. So doing the David Goggins 4x4x48 challenge. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to get 30 guys in here. They're going to camp out over the weekend, and we're going to go into the pit. And there'll be a lot of cool like growth talk in between the runs. And as we're getting broken down, like ultimately I want to have these breakthroughs so we can build up stronger men. If I was doing this and I was just going to do it to, change some lives, great. But then also just make a little bit of money. Okay, it's about me. Instead, I reached out to our Air Force reservists. I've got a connection through there. He found me a couple of Air Force families that are really struggling financially. So before we even started the event, I committed to him now $5,000 that we can put cash in our troops' hands going into the holiday season. That's my offering to them. So now there's another layer of like accountability because it's no longer about me.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to make sure I follow through and this event goes, to the best I can through prayerful consideration.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure I do my best to steward this thing so I can give people that need it $5,000.
Yeah.
Not for my own ego, not at all, but like because I'm trying to offer this to the kingdom.
Yeah, it's like every step in your growth journey is just more, it's of service.
Yeah.
Like everything, like we talk about, the 4 pillars that we talk about going into the STEP framework: strength, tribe, expertise, and praise. Strength. If I get stronger, I'm of more service to my family. I am of more service to God and being an example of being able to steward the body that he's giving me. If I, when we talk about tribe, me making commitments or offerings to have those one-on-one conversations, like my offering for tribe is to have a one-on-one, at least one-on-one a week, whether that's coffee or a lunch. But me growing those relationships is of service to those relationships, is of service to God, and hopefully those relationships that are being nurtured are based on a biblical foundation as well. Same thing with like expertise. My business grows. That's of service to God. I give an hour a week, or however long I want to spend in the Word or connecting with God as my praise offering. That's obviously of service. So the perspective that changes when you switch, I'm committing this to myself rather than this is an offering, because I know everything I do, every area I grow in is going to be of service in some capacity.
It's like service versus selfishness. I feel like you could almost break down the root of all sin to selfishness. Mm-hmm. Like, I want this. I want to be comfortable. I want to kick my feet up. I want to build this a more comfy, cozy house. Like, when you can start to die to selfishness, just realize like what I love about just the whole family dynamic, and that's why I feel like every guy needs to get out there, get himself a wife, like spread out some little kids. Like it's the biggest blessing, because every time my family grows, part of the selfishness in me dies. Mm. And like, I wish, like, that's where I love being able to reach guys that haven't yet found their wife, haven't yet like started a family. I want to start that now, because I realized how selfish I was before I met my wife. My weekends were my weekends. Like, whatever I wanted to do, wherever I wanted to eat, anything I wanted to do, like, I could do it. And then I met my wife, and all of a sudden my weekends were spent with whatever she wanted to do. She made all the plans. And then still, like, there's still a level of selfishness with as a couple with our time. And then all of a sudden kids come around and you're like, oh, I didn't realize how much free time I was actually wasting.
That's so true.
Like, yeah. And then kids come around. Yeah. You're now even more so, you're dying to yourself, and it's a beautiful thing though.
It is. And it's
like, his life keeps getting better every chapter.
It does. And it also, like, as it gets better, you're also learning a lot more about yourself. And like you said, like, how much free time did I have? What was I like? Just like, I didn't have any sort of responsibility to something else, so I could really do what I want. Now it's like there's more of a purpose behind, and more of an intentional approach behind how I spend my time. And it's a learning process for sure. But like, as far as like how I'm growing through it, I'm learning everything I do wrong very, very quickly. But it's a beautiful thing, because I don't know, it just gives me a new perspective on why I'm spending my time on what I'm spending my time on. Even if I like, and not to say that I'm spending my time on bad things, but it's like, where is it on my levels of priority? Like, am I actually prioritizing clearing out my inbox over getting 30 minutes with my daughter before she goes to bed? Am I actually, worried about, responding to this prospect who could turn into a sale over, sitting down and having an intentional time at dinner with my wife because I'm too busy staring at my phone? These are all things I'm saying because it's things I battle with currently. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying I have everything figured out, because I'm currently figuring out what what the process is, what the systems I need to implement in order to have those priorities in the right order.
And it's hard. You've got the Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. So the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I feel like you could almost argue that there's an unholy Trinity as well. So you've got internal sin, so like the flesh that we've been born with. You've got external sin, which is what society tells you. And society, like everything in our culture right now, says put you first, take care of you, like be selfish with your time. It's all about you. And then you've got the devil running around. So like there's those three components: internal, external, and then the devil. But society, like we're all born with a little selfish nature, and society is just throwing gas on it. And it's like, it's rampant right now. Mm-hmm. I see it especially with young men, it's video games. Dude, there are so many, I should call them kids at this point, because if you're just like still playing 4 hours of Madden or NCAA or whatever the game is now, like get over it. Put the sticks down, sell the system. Like there's no reason for it. And I've found a lot of guys, like if you're single and you're spending 4 hours a day on video games, that is the most selfish act you could do with your time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because when I recognize the good I could have done and how much free time I had before I met my wife and had kids, like you can make a huge impact in this world if you step out there and take action on things that actually matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that all that goes back to is the comfort conversation. Yeah. It's like,
No, I was a level 55 gold cross in the original Call of Duty. So don't get me wrong. Like, I had my years, but that's where I'm trying to help the next person. Like, because I made those mistakes, I want to shake it up for people. So, because life gets so much better when you start actually like living and not hiding behind a screen.
Yeah, it's so true. And we sit here and talk about like, how are we going out and reaching these guys and helping guys really achieve this level of success that they define for themselves, and involving all of these different components. We talked about the roadmap as far as like how we're setting these goals, what's the plan that we're going to use to get there, the difference in offerings and commitments, and like how are we packaging all that together. I want to talk about the tribe for a little bit, which I've talked about a good bit on the podcast, but having a community of guys that share a similar mindset and a similar perspective, that aren't focused on building their own kingdom, but are just as focused on your success as they are their own success. Because we know that, like, when we talk about stewardship, my success is great, but it's worthless if there's not a world of people that are building the kingdom as well, that are also building their families and having an impact in their lives. So I'd love for you to talk about just like what you've seen in the tribe, which is take a steps, coaching community of guys that want to come together and do life together and really grow, because they realize that through the proverb of iron sharpens iron, we only get better when we surround ourselves with other guys that embody a mindset that want to get better as well.
Yeah,
so I'd love to hear you talk about it a little bit.
So true. Well, as you start, so when you recognize there's a problem and you want difference, so you start to act different and your priorities start to shift, it starts to get lonely, and it can get lonely pretty quick. So if all of if the world that you've built, all of the friendships and relationships are centered around video games, for instance, like a lot of guys will stay, they know they want more, but if they stop playing video games with their buddies, like, who are their friends? And they don't have people that like share similar like-minded interests with them. Mm-hmm. So they'll revert back to old them. Mm-hmm.
Dude, the same thing is true. Not to cut you off, the same thing I've seen is true with like drinking buddies.
For sure.
Like people that like it's funny how if you took alcohol away from a lot of relationships, those relationships would fade.
Yeah.
It's like, what does that say about those relationships? If you can't enjoy time with someone if you're not drinking,
yep.
It's the same thing.
So how do you go out there and make friends? How do you find guys that are going to like help hold you to a higher standard and like want to see you succeed and what success actually means? It's hard to cultivate those relationships. Mm-hmm. And what we've done is actually get 10 guys in a room that say, hey, I want different. I'm going to start showing up different and I'm going to take action. Mm-hmm. And through the connections, through the ongoing chat throughout the month, through the monthly calls, through the courses, through the meetups where we're doing hikes together, grabbing coffee, getting workouts together, like, yeah, everybody's rising up.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you can create that space for people to be real. Like, you recognize how many people are sharing similar struggles, mm-hmm. or somebody has gotten through that struggle already, and now they've got the roadmap and the answer, and they can help them.
Yeah. Yeah. What I've seen since it started, and as I've started talking with everyone I know about it, so many guys like want that depth to their conversations and to their relationships. It's very hard to create that in like the natural world where you don't go up to a buddy and be like, hey, I want you to start holding me accountable. These are my goals. It's like people want that. People want to like go a little bit beneath the surface, but it's so hard to like step from, hey, did you watch the Braves last night? Or like, hey, what the Falcons do this Sunday? Or like
18 innings, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. I was getting my hair cut before this over at Sports Clips, and I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. It's so hard to get beneath the surface from these like surface level conversations and honestly surface level relationships, where they want more, they want that depth, but they don't know how to go about like initiating those conversations or finding those relationships. So what we've done through the tribe is really curate the environment where guys can come get plugged into a community where the sole focus is, hey, not how are you doing, but how are you really doing? Like what are the challenges you're facing? What are the wins that need to be celebrated right now? Like, it's okay to beat your chest a little bit around people who like are there for you and supporting you and are on this journey with you. It's great to beat your chest a little bit, but then if you do that, you need just as much, if not more, of the authenticity about like, hey, what are you really challenged with right now? Because this is a group of guys who 90% of them have probably been through those same challenges and can tell you in their own personal stories how they've overcome it, or be able to relate to you because they're in it right now.
I also love just as people are stepping into it and they know they want different and they're looking for kingdom impact, the relationships that naturally form, and then the business that naturally flows through it.
Yeah.
Like we went on that hike a couple weeks back, and one of my buddies, he's a grinder out there. He's out there like flooring, GC work.
Yeah.
He's doing all the things, and he stays busy. And it was like hard for him to take a Saturday morning away from what could be work time. But he took that step, and then through coming out there and having some real conversations, he made one of the most valuable connections that's going to lead to a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that's God instantly. Like sometimes God will show you like instantly.
Little affirmations.
Oh yeah. Just like, hey, this is where I need you. You're doing it right. And he'll guide you along the way. So it's guys that want to see each other. Like you said, they want to see success.
Yeah.
Not from the world standpoint, but how we're defining it. And they're going to hold you to it. A lot of people too, it's hard to find a guy that's going to pull your card. It's going to be like, hey, I saw what you're doing. I saw what you're looking at. I saw you had a couple too many drinks. A lot of guys just laugh it off. They're like, yeah, you threw a couple back last night. That's funny. Or there's some stupid drunk story. Like when you're around guys that want to see you level up, they're going to actually ask you like, hey, why'd you throw back 8 beers on the golf course the other day?
Yeah.
Like, you good? You running from something?
Yeah.
And it actually gives you a chance to sit back and think, why did I do that? Am I stressed at home? Is work just crazy? Did I need an outlet? Did I need to numb myself from something? Thank you. And now you can actually fix the problem. But having a group of guys that will pull your card is very hard to find.
Yeah.
Misery loves company. So a lot of guys want to just pull you down with them. And our group, ultimately, we're rising together.
Exactly.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's fun to see how it's playing out right now, and really cool vision for the future on how it's going to continue to grow. And can't think of a better guy to have along to help build that than you. So it's really cool to kind of see it start to prosper. So
let's go.
Love to have you on board. But man, it's been a great conversation. Where can people, I know you're like in the process of building out like what your like personal branding journey is going to look like, and how people can start to follow along with what you're doing. Where are you at with starting to get the wheels turning on your content journey?
This was step one. So, I mean, the Forge right here, we dreamed this up just 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And now we're sitting here today. So like finally getting this studio and this office space was probably step one. And then really for me, it's becoming the leader I need to be. There's another good book for anybody who's stepping into entrepreneurship, The E-Myth. I was living like all their case studies. I've read the book, and now when I took a second to reflect, I'm like, okay, yep, I'm operating like this, and I need to be operating like this. So right now my focus is developing leaders around me so I can get out there and I can keep investing in myself, get around the right people, find a couple more mentors, and just kind of keep leveling up.
Yeah.
My goal for next year is 10 stages.
Nice. Well, dude, this has been a great episode. I've enjoyed it. Thanks for coming on, and lots of fun stuff on the horizon. So I'm looking forward to growing alongside you. But guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating or a review on whichever platform you're listening. And always remember that no matter where you are in your growth journey, every mile begins with a step. We'll talk to you in the next episode.
Let's go.